systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on? Little Mac, Jason Turner, Sean Sullivan, Michael, MN Holla, Ham the Man, Michael again, and my man Nades. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know a couple people had a great weekend. We'll start with the man, Ham the Man. Saturday, 20,000 big ones. I believe it was Saturday, and I woke up Sunday morning to this. Shout out to you, Ham. Have always been grinding. He's been in first. He's been in second. A lot more than many of you think. Doesn't post all of his screenshots. He got the job done, though. Then our man Rio follows it up, Hebrew Cheetah, of course, yesterday with the big 50K stack. Our Brew Crew got it done for him. The game winner, the walk-off, Isaac Collins, moves Rio up to the first place for $50,000. Big shout out to you two. Huge momentum heading into the NFL season. So, YSN, hope you're doing well. Robert Davis as well. Maids, I hope you're doing half as good, a quarter of as good as those two right there. But how are we doing today?
Yeah, doing pretty good. It'd be a little better with five-figure plus in the old checkbook there. But hey, maybe tonight's the night for hopefully myself and many other members. Hey, keep going in, keep grinding, and your time is going to come. You got to take the wins with the losses, bumps and the bruises, right? You got to stay in for the haul. You can't win if you're not playing there. So a little piece of advice out there. Pretty fun slate on tap tonight, and we're rolling into the Fantasy Baseball World Championships. I know Kenny's got a seat. I know Rio's got a seat. A couple other members got seats as well there. So good luck to them. I believe that's this week. Not sure there.
Correct. Yep, this weekend.
Yeah. So should be fun there. And yeah, baseball season. It's kind of, I don't want to say winding down because prize pools are still crazy, but NFL is right around the corner. And I know you're going to talk about that in a couple seconds here. Best place to be in the industry for the NFL content for the cheapest price, and there's no better other place out there for the money that you're spending here for what you get overall.
Yeah, thanks. You make my job real easy. I mean, you can just compare. If you've seen rolled out in the industry right now, there's no way it's as affordable as ours, and that doesn't mean that we're cutting anything, making it affordable. We'll still have every single showdown show, normal show, showdown content, normal content, core reports, everything you're used to, the stack rankings. On top of all that, you get the college football content similar to last year for free. College football, our man Bill and others absolutely crushed it. Smarty in the chat as well. Most sites, you have to pay for it. $200, somewhere around there. You get that for free. SaberSim Optimizer, that's huge. Obviously, many of you know unless you're living under a rock, we show off SaberSim all the time. Show it off in a second. But by far the best optimizer out there. I know Ham talked about using it. I know Rio talked about using it in their wins. They just continue to improve with their product. You get SaberSim included with the NFL package on top of what we came out last August 6th, the big mystery bonus. What was that? The SHIPIT games, over $77,000 in dollars and prizes will be given away with the chance and expectation that it'll be a lot more. Hoping a couple members / Tambo do well in the Wildcat to give even more people back to that. If you're not familiar with SHIPIT games, go to last week's YouTube video with Tambo. Otherwise, you just got to go to shipitnation.com. You see this right here. If you click this link, this will bring you to the SHIPIT Games website link, and you can look at everything. It explains how do you get ballots, etc. Ballots, you have more likely to be picked to win a golden ticket. How do you get more ballots? Well, one way to do it is signing up before Wednesday. This does the early bird special. $349 goes up to $449 on Wednesday. And it takes away those 5 ballots that you do get for number 4 for the mystery bonus. So we'd love to have you. If you know you're going to join, I would recommend doing it before Wednesday to get 5 extra ballots to hopefully get a chance to get a golden SHIPIT ticket. And from that, you can parlay that into right now. First place is $20,000 with the yearly ultimate package. And again, we do expect those numbers to go up throughout the year. We'd love to have you at the Nation. You are absolutely right. MN Holla, I had a wedding on Saturday. You know me. I mean, anytime I have a wedding, a bachelor party, whatever it is, Title has fun. Title goes hard. Title's voice pays the price, but doing great right now. I actually headed out to headed out to the Brewer game tonight with my brothers. So yeah, I might have to run it back. Hopefully it's not too close of a game where I have to be screaming, but my mom was just there. She watched the walk-off. There's been a lot of good games at AmFam recently. Throwing out Perkins, throwing out Starling Marte. Hey, what did I tweet? If you like free money, bet on the Brewers. They have not lost since. So hopefully I do not ruin it. And if I do, you know why. Ham, I called the home run. How do I get in touch? There you go, Ham. I don't know if you said you were giving something away or something, but there you go. What's up, Nate D? Lone Wolf. Kenny, good luck this weekend, my man. I will be on one more day, but if I don't see you, go get that title. Beautiful, beautiful buck sitting in your front today. I actually feel way better than I sound. T-Pick, what's up? Yeah. Another thing, my wife's grandparents' house yesterday, their basement did flood, so I was out for 2.5, 3 hours running shop vacs up and down the stairs, clearing that puppy out. Not fun at all. Has been insane out here. Hope everybody's doing well. Absolutely. Seeing what others do, like Kenny's talking about, whether it's high stakes, mid stakes, low stakes, the dry run, Nate talks about it all the time, is very important. If you're playing any bit of money, I think you should, if you're playing like $10 or less, yeah, maybe it's not worth it there. If you're playing $50 or more a week, I mean, just the basic SaberSim package alone is very, very good. If you're playing thousands, I think you should look into the ultimates or at least give it a try. There we go. There we go. Deep pick, Big Ed, Lone Wolf. Yeah, Milwaukee looks like a stack today. You know I'll be stacking it, but I always try and stack something when I go to the game. All right, Cam the man, good to see you too. Hopefully I said hi to everybody. Initial thoughts on this slate, Nate, for me, then I'll throw it to you for any initial thoughts you have, and then talking pitcher. I think we have 3 pitchers today that people want. They're all up top. Now, there is options below, but Crochet, Yamamoto, Evolve. 2 of these 3, I think, will be the chalk. Part of the reason for that, 1, 2, like took in team totals above 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And especially these last game, the Rays are so cheap. And some of these others too, like the Tigers, etc. I think it's pretty easy to spend up for pitching and figure out your bats after. Now, with all that being said, like sorting by projection, Will Warren, Nicholas, Quintana, Pepio, they're all very fine projections. Will Warren stands out the most when we get there, but you're still giving up 4 points, 5 points from those top guys. You are getting a decent bit of savings. It can get you on a different roster construction. I think most of my teams and the chalk will be at least 1 pitcher from up top, more than likely 2 of these 3. Any broad slate for you hitting pitching perspective? Otherwise, go Crochet 11.5 all the way down to Pepio at 8K.
Yeah, it's pretty much a 3-pitcher slate with Cardinals is kind of how it's going. Dolander's making his return off the IL. He wasn't good before that. He is a pretty decent rated prospect overall, but just hasn't figured it out at the major league level yet. Now goes into St. Louis to face the Cardinals, and their entire roster is free, which allows you to double spend at pitcher, and then you got the Rays. So it's pretty much the Rays, the Cardinals, and then 2 of the 3 aces at the top, quote unquote. I mean, that's kind of how projections in the field, right? To Kenny's point, I leverage SaberSim a ton. I play 2 to 3 teams almost every night. And I leverage SaberSim like I'm going into MME every night because it gives me an idea of what the field's going to do based on the different field sizes and contest sizes that I'm entering in. And that's pretty much what it is. It's those 3 at the top, Cardinals and the Rays. We can use that to our advantage. There's some of it where I'm going to be in on, much like yourself. And there's some of it that I think you could pivot away and go elsewhere there. So we'll do our best to break it down. Talking pitching, though, Garrett Crochet, SP1 on the slate, if you can get to him. I'm not worried about, the spend-up pitchers recently have not done their thing. Crochet got tagged up a little bit last time. I don't care. If I have the salary, 11.5 for Garrett Crochet here, I'm playing him. I mean, highest strikeout prop on the slate. It is the Astros. I get it. They have been hitting as of late, but it's still Garrett Crochet. I mean, the dude can strike out anybody. He's gotten a 7.5K prop, best on the slate. It's basically a pick 'em right now across no matter what book you look. Some books have juice on the over. Some books have some minor juice on the under there. But overall, highest K prop on the slate by far. Yamamoto is too cheap, in my opinion, 9,900. Just a misprice. He should be up there at 10.5, 11K with Eovaldi and Crochet there. So by factor and small field stuff, he's going to be the chalk. I mean, I won't be surprised to see him be 60 to 70% owned in high stake stuff due to that price. 9,900 is just too cheap. It's going to be him and then one of Crochet Eovaldi. It'll probably lean slightly to Eovaldi because that $1,300 does make a difference when you're talking about some of the high-powered bats like the Yankees that we're going to talk about, the Dodgers, right? You do have some high-powered offenses on this slate that people will want to click. And if they can play Eovaldi and Yamamoto and have that extra $1,300 in salary, it's going to make a difference there. So for me, Crochet is probably my favorite tournament option just because I do think he comes slightly under owned compared to what Eovaldi and Yamamoto do. Can't go wrong with any of the three. For me, Logan Webb, I'm out on Logan Webb. He's been really good. Pitcher in general, I just don't like the matchup. The ballpark's good, but again, San Diego beefed up their lineup, and you're not really getting a price discount. So for me, he misses the cut there. I'm not playing him. I'm not playing either of. I'm not playing Javier. I'm not playing Cavalli there. I just don't know what's gonna happen with him. He's still a young arm there. Had a really good start. His first start. Now faces a low strikeout team in Kansas City. I'm out on both of those guys. Pepiot, I think, might get a little bit of ownership. He's not projecting too much, but I think as people start adding more in, he's got a decent K prop. I'm out on Pepiot. This dude's got the worst home run per 9 inning split on the slate. Now faces 13-mile-an-hour winds with 90-degree temps out in Sacramento with the wind blowing out. I'm actually on the other side of that matchup there, so no Pepiot for me. Reed Nelson, or actually let's go 8K and above, right? Yeah, so it's really just the three guys at the top. Logan Webb would be the pivot, but I don't love it. And then Pepiot at the bottom tier. I think you could include him in MME stuff, but I'm much more on the side of the A's than on the side of Pepiot myself personally. So it's realistically just Crochet, number 1 for me, Eovaldi 2, Yamamoto 3, just because I think Yamamoto is going to be the highest owned by far, and it's not going to be close.
Yeah, good breakdown. I'm similar in a lot of that. I don't really have the strongest preference of the three up here. If that's the case, and like it's Crochet at 25%, Eovaldi at 34, Yamamoto at like 40 something, yeah, give me Crochet. It's a 10-game slate on both sites. There's plenty of offenses that have high totals, very similar to each other, where I'm confident enough, whether I'm using Saber, Sim, hand building, etc., I can get different playing any two combination of these pitchers up top. Clearly the highest K prop arms. You mentioned 7.5 Crochet, little juice on the under from what I'm seeing in this one, but Yamamoto 6.5 juice on the over, some decent juice. Then Eovaldi 6.5, some juice on the under. After that, the only K props you have at 5.5, Will Warren and Zebby Matthews, pretty much even, who we'll talk about below. And then we have Pepiot, some juice on the under at 5.5. Now mention, I didn't even say Logan Webb. And Logan Webb is right in that same price range. If I included anyone 8K and above that you X out, it would be Pepiot, but I still don't love it by any means, like you said. And I think it's a slate to have a lot more concentrated pitching pool and spread it out at bats than vice versa. So I'm totally good crossing off everyone else above 8K like you did and trying to find it out down below. Now, the guys below, I know for sure. I want Will Warren. He'll be the chalk, in quotes, if people do go down here. Still, you're seeing under 20% on Saber Sim right now. I want Quintana because the Pirates stink. He's at home. The Brewers should have run support. But if two pitchers score 27 or more, Quintana is not going to be on the winner. I don't like the upside there. And then Zebby Matthews, looking at Zebby Matthews in Springs, when looking at the K props, let me get the Springs right. 4.5 juice on the over, a little bit's fine. Zebby Matthews was 5.5, not showing much ownership. However, obviously playing the Yankees with a really high run total, I would take a chance on a guy who has 5.5 K prop, really good, who's going to be very low owned. Yes, 2-3 solo shots from the Yankees and 6 Ks from Zebby at 4% might be enough, or at least I would take my chances on a pitching slate that I really don't like much. So Warren, Quintana, Zebby, probably Springs, because I think Tampa is the first or second highest owned stack. Maybe get some direct leverage that way. But I want to anchor my teams around at least one of these guys up top. And I wouldn't force playing two of them because then you can't 5-man the Dodgers or the Yankees stuff you want. Like it limits your build too much. So I'd include these guys down low. I do not love too much down here though. Do you have leans on what your favorites are 8K and below?
Yeah, I'll throw out a couple names. My favorite guy down here, to be honest, is probably going to be Will Warren, just with the strikeout upside there against the Twins there. Some lefties can get to him there, but overall, Will Warren, I'm just looking at strikeouts to match some of the guys up at the top, Crochet, Yamamoto, Eovaldi, right, when you're going down here. Will Warren does have the strikeout upside there. There is obviously downside risk, but he's 7,500. So that's kind of baked in there. He'll be sub 20% owned, even in high stakes. He'll be right around that 20% number. It may be less because there is enough other guys down here. I'm out on Paddock. I'm not playing Mikolas. I don't want 15 DraftKings points. I mean, it'll be a stretch for him to get there even against the Rockies, I think. So I'm not playing him. I think some people might click his name. I'm out on him. I'm out on Paddock. Quintana, I'm in on. So for me, it's Will Warren. Springs is my second favorite guy down here. The reason being is Springs does have upside. He's 6,900. He's also going to be a direct leverage off of the Rays that have over a 5 implied run total there. You look at the Rays against left-handed pitching, they're just not the same team. They're a completely different team. They're the second most strikeouts in the league over the last month against left-handed pitching there, only second to the Texas Rangers there. So for me, I like Springs quite a bit overall. I think, again, the leverage there is nice, and I think he can get strikeout upside at $6,900. So for me, that's enough to check out there. I wanted to play Reed Nelson, but looking at this confirmed Texas lineup, yeah, there's some shitty hitters in there like Jock Jams, which we'll talk about in the batting side of things. Batting cleanup at 2,100 there. Nelson is actually a decent real-life pitcher. He can soak up some innings, six innings, 7 innings. The issue for me is his strikeouts drop off a cliff, and they rolled out 6 lefties, which his strikeout rate is just bad, very bad against lefties there. So I don't think he has the upside at 7,700. I'd much rather just play Quintana or Will Warren. If I'm going with a safer arm that I think can eat innings and doesn't have the greatest strikeout matchup or the strikeout stuff, I'd just rather side with Quintana. I think he's going to have run support. The Brewers should win this game. Quintana's been good or decent, and I think Quintana can get us realistically 20 to 22 DraftKings points, somewhere with that when you get the 4 points for the win and all those things. So for me, it's Warren, Springs, Quintana are kind of, and Zebby are kind of the 4 guys I'm looking at. You can take stabs on Yu Darvish, a good flop leg spot. I think Yu Darvish was chalk last time he was down here on a slate and got beat up a little bit. Don't love his pitch count there, but again, he's 6,600. Nobody's going to play him there. It's the best pitcher's ballpark out there, and the Giants do strike out. All of Yu Darvish's underlying metrics, including his xFIP, are 2 runs better than what his ERA is. Everything looks pretty solid for 6,600. If he's any sort of a mold of his old self, you could see a 25-point DraftKings night, and at 6,600, you're going to need that if any of the high-powered offenses do anything. So for me, that's kind of my pitching pool with a heavy lean to the first couple guys that I mentioned there.
So I was taking care of some. He'll contact you, or David, in YouTube comments or something. 2 names that I might have missed. Did you say anything about Jose Soriano, who's been ground ball pitcher, solid as a late K prop fine, but a tough matchup? And then you're not playing any Falter, Mikolas, Darvish, Paddock, are you?
So Darvish was the one guy that I do. So I'm out on Mikolas and Paddock. Soriano, I think, is interesting, but it's 7,100. I think I'd rather take a shot more on a guy like Yu Darvish or Jeffrey Springs, who are also going to be very similar, unowned, what Soriano is going to be. Soriano, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, he can go out there and walk 5 guys and give up 3 home runs and be pulled by the second inning, or he can go out there and get, 15 ground balls, strike out 6 dudes, and go 7 innings. You just never know what you're going to get. So in tournaments, I think he's fine. I just don't love his pitch count leash and the strikeout upside in this matchup against the Dodgers there. And he hasn't looked as great recently there. So that's for me with enough other arms around him. On a different slate where pitching didn't have as much similar arms for the same ownership down by him, I'd probably play him. But realistically, it's Darvish and Zebby, Quintana, and Springs. Warren are kind of the guys I'm looking at with a heavy lean to Zebby, Springs, and Warren for me personally.
Yeah, for Nades, it's yes. For me, it's I'm not playing either of those guys. Do you believe that 80 pitch count Saber has for
I
you
think,
down here?
yeah, I think like 85-ish. And I mean, if he can go 85 against this Giants team in this park, I think he can get an upside. Like I said, his xFIP is 2 runs lower than what his actual ERA is. All of his estimators, in terms of the FanGraphs metrics that I look at, all seem pretty solid for him. And you look at the Giants against right-handed pitching, 23% K rates, this ballpark. So there is upside there. I'd probably rather just get up to Springs for for the extra money there, the $300. They're both going to be, I mean, and we actually have Darvish projected higher owned than Springs. So personally for me, I'd just rather side with Springs, but I didn't want to leave Darvish and talk on that because I do think people might click that name again.
Good stuff. Couple things I want to say, then we'll go talk Pepio in that ballpark. That concerns me a little bit for sure. You can see it in the run totals. You can see it in the over-under. That's funny. Starting to warm up, Ben 150. Shut up. Where's Ham? There you go. That makes me like Springs a little bit more than I initially did. He was going to be in the pool. The K prop's fine. Again, it's the leverage you get off of the chalk Tampa. You can pair him with a Crochet, whatever it may be, and still stack the Yankees, the Dodgers. So just the price alone and the leverage makes me like him a little bit. But I think I'm more on Jake's side when we talk. Where was Jake's comments? Pay up at pitching and go like a Brewers, a Tigers, a Royals, like a Cardinals. Even though that could be chalky, we'll find ways to get different. I know that I want to anchor my teams a lot around these 3 pitchers up top. And then Will Warren I'm fine with too. So it's mainly these 4 are by far my favorites. After that, I would probably go 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. And just, it'd be something like this. I don't even know who I just X'd out, but I'm not going to let anything more than 10% below these guys. So I'm going to jam Warren, Yamamoto, Evaldi, Crochet. I would set a rule, at least one of Crochet, Evaldi, Yamamoto. And then if I am getting Darvish, Soriano, Springs, whoever else I just X'd out, it's a very little piece of them. I'm getting them with an expensive arm that I like, and it's more an ownership stuff. And then my bats and my team will look different than if I am going in Evaldi, Yamamoto, etc. So anything you want to add to pitching before we talk switch over to bats?
No, I think we broke it down pretty good. I'm definitely with you on more condensed pitcher pool than hitters. There's a lot of offenses you can play. A lot of them are all pretty similar to each other. I mean, we're talking about the Cardinals as the highest, the best quote unquote stack on the board, and then the Rays. I mean, there's other teams that you can definitely play. So it's much more a spread it out slate for hitting for me than pitching.
Absolutely agree with that. All right. Nothing else in chat. Let's go talk some bats. First bat, or the first game of the slate, New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins. 8.5 total. Minus 185 favorites are the Yankees, looking at 2 pitchers that were in the pool. But again, Zebby, solid K prop, very high run total for the Yanks, though. Will Warren, he will be the one if people go down, do get ownership. Byron Buxton also, as you can see, activated off the IL, is back in the leadoff spot. What are we doing? Twins, Yankees. I'm more excited to hear your take on the Yankees stuff because for their run total and looking at their combined ownership, obviously it's the nature of the card. It's hard to go Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Jazz, Ben Rice when you're wanting to play Crochet, Yamamoto. However, I think I'm a lot more likely to play when I'm 5-man in the Yankees. I'm a lot more likely to play Will Warren, I think. You have that little extra correlation, hoping you get the win. If the Yankees are on the winner, they put up a bunch of runs. Warren's more likely to get the win. Maybe he's already a pitcher that we like. The price makes sense when playing the Yankees. That's the one thing that stood out to me. If 5-man in the Yankees, I'm more likely to play a Will Warren. What are we doing, though? 5-manning on both sides.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are pretty sneaky here tonight. I think Zebby does, due to his K-prop, get a decent amount of steam, and people are just naturally not going to click the Yankees. I think they're going to be more likely to click probably the Dodgers at a similar price, Boston, some of these other teams in a similar price point. Bellinger, Rice, and Grisham are 3 of the better plays in the slate, in my opinion. Zebby does have good strikeout stuff, but Bellinger, Rice, and Grisham all season just have sub 20% K rates against right-handed pitching. ISO's all over 200. As a team, this team has a 228 ISO against right-handed pitching, a 24% K rate, and that's with guys like Stanton in there and Ryan McMahon, who have heavy strikeouts that overall inflate that strikeout rate there. So for me, Zebby allows power and fly balls, and that's what the entire Yankees do. Their entire roster hits the ball in the air, 32% fly ball rate, 37% ground ball rate. That is almost unmatched by any other team in the major, especially for a starting lineup 1 through 9. Tons of power here. And not only that, the Twins bullpen has been bad with the trade deadline, getting rid of some of their arms and kind of selling. And you look at their usage over the last 3 days, 56, 43, 36, 35, 34. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys throw yesterday on Sunday, 3 guys throw on Saturday. Their attacks bullpen, they're already not good in terms of xFIP over the last month. I think the Yankees have some of the highest upside on the slate at their ownership and make for an elite tournament stack, in my opinion, here. And Saber tends to agree with me too on some of the different metrics and stuff that I look at. So I love the Yankees here for their ownership. And then on the Twins side, not as much interest there. It would be the lefties, if any. So Cody Clemens makes some sense. Trevor Larnach, Brooks Lee. Outside of that, I'm not really too interested in the Twin side of things, but I do like the Yankees quite a bit.
I like the Yankees too, and I even like them more after looking at chat because you go, I want to find the first comment that I missed. I think Sean said something. Give me all the Zebby against the Yankees who always disappoint. And then he goes, Yankees are letting me down after yesterday. No way I can play the Yankees. Couldn't even get a hit. Yankees left a sour taste in people's mouth. Definitely a Siki stack. So many people are already like, no chance I'm playing the Yankees after yesterday. People played them yesterday. They got burned. They're not going back. It's, yes, daily fantasy sports. Every day is different. This lineup is too talented. There's too many fly balls. Any day this team can absolutely pop off. When they're not getting ownership with one of the highest run totals, and again, yes, part of that is because of the nature of the slate, but it sounds like you guys don't even agree with this ownership. Like, it's a 10-game slate. If people want to spend up, there's plenty of other good spend-up spots that have runs. Like, let's see what we have. The Dodgers, 38.
The Twins bullpen is bottom 5 in baseball, and I just read you their run. I mean, they had 2 guys throw 36 and 38 pitches yesterday. They're not throwing today. There are other guys threw back-to-back Saturday and Sunday. I mean, they're down to literally nobody. So if Matthews is struggling out there, they're going to leave him out there hung to dry, and then they're going to throw in some jabroni, and you could get a position player late in this game. I think this team just murders right-handed pitching. You want to play lefties against them. You don't want to play righties against them.
And I keep saying it, but since they got Ryan McMahon, I mean, just seeing the lineup 1 through 9 and their ability to turn it over is awesome. What's also kind of awesome and very interesting, you see 4 outfielders to start. You obviously only can play 3 on FanDuel. Or on DraftKings, you can play 4 on FanDuel if you wanted. So you have to make a decision right away. But then you have all the onesie positions near the bottom of the order that are cheaper, but that makes it, even when people play the Yankees, they're a team that's played the most in like the most multitude of ways. In a lot of teams, it's always 1 through 6. No one touches the bottom, etc. Playing the Yankees, you will see people that can stack 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and feel totally fine with it because their lineup is that deep. And that also, so even if the stack's higher owned on days it is, you can get a lot different within the stack than you can some other teams. Hoping that makes sense for you. So even on a day today, they're not getting owned. They're probably even going to be the individual bats and the guys you do play will be a lot less owned than normal. Nate, take us to the Tigers White Sox. I got to answer this call quick.
Yeah, Tigers White Sox. I think this game is pretty interesting actually from both sides. I prefer the White Sox a little bit more. Paddock gives up power and fly balls, mainly to lefties there. And you get some cheap White Sox here. I like them as pivots off of the Rays, off of some of the Cardinals, off of guys like Jock Peterson, Colson Montgomery, Brooks Baldwin, 2 of the better plays in the slate. Kyle Teal fits that bill too. I like him. Michael Taylor, Sosa, Talkman are kind of the main guys. You can throw in Benintendi in there too. And then obviously Luis Robert always has a ton of power there. But I do like the White Sox here. Tigers pen has also slipped as of late here. Over the last month, they're league worst in terms of a lot of the estimators there. XFIP, they're not good. They're bottom 5 in the league as well there. So I do think the White Sox have some intrigue here, and I don't think many people are going to go to them. I think they're a good pivot in a chalkier double spend up pitcher spot. There is some slight weather here to monitor. Roth has it tagged as yellow. I don't really worry about yellow too much until I start seeing orange and red come in there. So overall, if the game plays, it's slightly a boost to bats there. So I do like the White Sox thing more in this game than the Tiger side. Tigers are gonna face Pagura to start here, and then it's gonna be Alexander, I believe, is kind of a long reliever, and you just never know what you're gonna get. So battling a bullpen game here, I get it. It's not a great bullpen by any means, but just not knowing what the splits and that are going to be. I have other teams ahead of the Detroit side personally myself. I know some people are going to differ there, and Detroit does have a decent implied run total. It's not a great bullpen by any means, but with other spots, very similar offensively on this slate, I'd much rather side with the lower owned White Sox here as a value and pivots off of other teams on the slate than battle a bullpen game here. But you could play Riley Green, Carpenter, Torkelson, Perez. Those are kind of the 4 guys that I would look at the most. You can throw Colt Keith in there too, but I just don't love attacking a bullpen game for the most part.
I am really happy you mentioned the White Sox and have a lot of love for them, because they were the one team that stood out that I thought would be really sneaky. And mainly, I mean, I've been picking on Chris Paddock for what feels like the past 4 years whenever he is healthy. Went through the stretch where I played him all the time because his K stuff was there. But, I mean, he just doesn't strike anyone out, but he doesn't walk anyone, so balls are always in play. He gives up fly balls. This White Sox, I mean, Colson Montgomery, this dude's a stud. 4,100, can play him at third base or shortstop. Always would love that. Talkman's cheap, so he can play him at second base. Benintendi and Roberts. Roberts got popped. Benintendi just too cheap there. You can do so much. Brooks Baldwin, 1 through 9. I don't know if I want to 5-man this team by any means, but when I want to go Crochet Yamamoto and then find a 5-man Rays or something where I'm already, or the Cardinals, you have to get different at places. I think the White Sox is the place to do it. Can you get to a 5-man with 2 of Yamamoto and them up top?
I think so. I mean, if I read you these teams, Seattle, San Diego, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Astros, the Cubs, the Tigers, all of those teams are below the White Sox in OPS against right-handed pitching over the last month. White Sox are 7th in all of baseball in OPS, and they're super cheap, and nobody's going to play them. And you got a bad Tigers bullpen behind him, league worst over the last month in terms of estimators. And you look at their usage, 52, 46, 30. 3 other guys at the top end, all are pretty taxed.
I love that number, Nades. I like the Tigers a little more than you. I like them definitely worse than it sounds like Jake. They don't crack my top 3. The thing with, I mean, yes, it's a long reliever in a bullpen game for the White Sox, but the White Sox bullpen is trash. Alexander is similar to Paddock. He's a soft throwing lefty, so balls will be in play. Torque's got power. Green's got power. I don't mind Dingler at catcher. The problem is, I don't know how much I want to play McKinstry. I don't know how much I want to play Ibanez. Jones is really cheap at top, grades out fine. Javi Baez is never a fun click. They're not getting much ownership, though. The prices are in check, and I want to spend up at pitching. So just naturally, with a solid run total, guaranteed 9th inning at bats, they'll be in play. But they do fall down the list a little bit. Who'd you say your favorite bats were? Torque, Green, Perez?
Yeah, so I think, it's kind of tough because you don't know how – I don't think Pagura is going to throw that long. One inning maybe, and then you're going to get a lefty. So the best hitters against lefties are Carpenter, Torres, and Dingler. You stretch that out to the whole season. Perez comes in there. Torkelson comes in there. But, the Carpenter it's just tough for me. That's the struggle that I have. You don't know if Alexander's going to come in there. So for me, that's kind of why they fell down. But Torkelson, Torres, Perez, Dingler would kind of be my 4th favorite there. You could throw Kerry Carpenter in there too if you want 5. He's got a nice price point overall. Tigers definitely have upside, but I like a lot of other teams more personally.
Yeah, I do too. They followed on the list. I like the White Sox a lot, though. I'm glad you're on the same page right there. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slates. Best team in baseball, Milwaukee Brewers, taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Feels good to say that right now. 9 total, minus 217 favorites are the Brewers. I mean, I'm stacking the Brewers, but I'm going to the game. They've been really hot. There's too much. There's not even bias. Just don't even listen to me right now, since if I'm going to the game, I'm stacking my team, especially when I think they're actually a good play. They just put so much pressure on teams. They run. Finally, the long ball is starting to pop up a little bit. Get a bad starting pitcher in Heaney, a bad baseball team on the other side against a surging team. Yeah, I mean, eventually they got to cool off, you think, though. But yeah, touch on your favorite bats for the Brewers, 5-man, 3-man, what you want to do, and then any Pirates against Quintana.
Yeah, you can also run on Heaney a little bit too. Nothing crazy, but if you can run at all, the Brewers are going to do that. So Blake Perkins, Danny Jansen, Monasterio, you're going to get some really cheap guys in here, likely against the lefty. They all murder left-handed pitching. Those guys, Perkins, Jansen, Monasterio, Collins, all smash lefties. And then the rest of the lineup all puts the ball into play. The only guy that doesn't really put the ball into play against lefties, Danny Jansen, a little bit boom bust with his strikeout stuff there. But if he puts it in play, it's usually a barrel and hard contact, which you're chasing anyways. And Lockridge. The rest of the team all puts the ball into play. Guys like Joey Ortiz will run as well. Nobody ever plays him in the back half of that lineup. Even if the Brewers are going to be chalky, nobody ever clicks Joey Ortiz because he always bats 8th or 9th. I like it. He'll run when he's on base. He does hit occasionally for some power there. Durbin. Overall, I like them all. Lockridge is my least favorite if he's in there. Contreras is one of the hotter hitters in baseball, helped Rio Ship. And Collins there. Those guys will be a good mini stack always. More people might click Danny Jansen due to the salary with the spend up bats. If you want to play the Brewers and be even a little bit different, I get Danny Jansen hits lefties really good, but so does Contreras. Contreras is one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and people are much rather click Danny Jansen for $2,000 cheaper, $1,900 cheaper than click Contreras there. So that easily makes you different. 1 through 9 for me and the Brewers firmly in play. Pirates bullpen's not great, even though they have been decent recently. Heaney's not good himself. And then, I mean, if it's 6-0, 7-0, they got a long series ahead of them. They're not going to throw out their quote-unquote better arms out of that pen. No Pirates interest for me. There's much other teams on this slate. I don't think Quintana's unbeatable by any means, but Brewers bullpen is good behind him, and I just don't see the need to play Pittsburgh side.
Yeah, I think you're wasting teams playing Pittsburgh. Brew Crew I like. There's no doubt about that. They are top 3 for me. Let's see if we can find a couple other stacks Nades likes better. Next game, very interesting one. The Nats and the Royals, 8.5 total, minus 156 favorites are the Royals. I say interesting because run total on the Royal side, good. It's okay on the Nats. Ownership, not much on both sides. And when I'm looking at pricing, National side, 1 guy or 2 guys above 5K, no one else above 3,600. Royal side, 1 guy above 5K. Then there's a 4-9, but you see a lot of cheap bats on a slate that I want to spend up at pitching, and there's fine run totals, and the game's not getting much ownership. Right away, I have some interest. I definitely have interest on the Nats side against Falter, another guy that doesn't strike out many bats, also doesn't walk too many guys, so the balls will be in play. Like I think James Wood, even lefty, very, very solid at very little ownership. Then you can do anything. Josh Bell's too cheap. Switch hitter. Paul DeJong, second and third base eligible, has got some pop. Riley Adams at catcher. I don't mind playing mainly the power hunting for some of these Nats. Royal side, I don't know. People are going to be scarred from this K. Cavalli performance last time against the A's. The dude throws hard. It was a 3-game slate. The A's were the chalk. Cavalli he mowed him down at the end of the day, and he looked really good doing so. Royals still have a healthy run total, though. Nats don't have a good bullpen, and a lot of these prices are very intriguing on the Royals side to go along with good hitter rankings. I'm going right back. I want to play some Royals. I think that's a way you can play top-tier pitching without really getting too chalky. So I like both sides of this game and their prices. What about you?
Yeah, I have a slight lean to the Nats side of this game just because I don't think anybody's going to click the Nats here. Falter's not good. The dude doesn't strike anybody out, gets hit for some power to both sides, allows fly balls, balls are going to be in play. He allows a ton of hard contact, over 52%. Paul DeJong just murders left-handed pitching. He's very cheap. Third base is a weak position. James Wood, lefty. He still mashes lefties. Riley Adams, Abrams, Josh Bell. I like the top 5 of this order. Riley Adams hitting 6th. You got Nate Lowe in there batting 5th. I don't like him as much, but I think the Nats are pretty interesting here. And the Royals bullpen is not very good and pretty taxed. I mean, they used 5 bullpen arms yesterday, 4 on Saturday. 20, 25, 29, 35, 38 pitches. 2 of their better arms threw pretty extensively, Lynch and Clark on Friday there. So they're pretty beat up. It's already not a good bullpen in terms of rankings with all the injuries they had. And the Nats, yeah, it's not a fun team to play, but they do have some power here and they're cheap. Nobody's going to play them. Full 9 at bats in an above average place to hit here tonight with the temps in Kauffman Stadium, and you got some slight wind blowing out to left field there. So I do like the Nats. I prefer the Nats a little bit more personally than the Royals. I will say I don't know if I'm buying Cavalli's last start here. I'm not sure what to really get from this guy. I haven't looked into his minor leagues metrics or anything like that, but he did look decent in that last start, did keep the ball on the ground as well. For the very, very limited sample. Not sure if that's going to hold true. Obviously, it's the A's. The A's have been struggling. But I would look at Salvi, Yastrzemski, Bobby Witt, Vinny P. Those 4 all hit the ball in the air for the most part and all have some power. Mainly the top 3, 2, 3, 4, I think is a really nice mini stack there. Bobby, Vinny P, Salvi. Salvi's been really, really good since the All-Star break, even a little bit before there. And I don't think his price is fully adjusted yet either. So those are kind of the guys I'm looking at. That 2, 3, 4 I like a lot. I like the Nats more as a stack, though, personally myself.
Do you like the Nats or the White Sox more? Feel very similar boat today.
Yeah, I have a slight lean to the White Sox just because of how good they've been. And I like more of their hitters personally, but it's close between the two. I like both of them more than the Rays by far, and it's not even close.
There you go. And they'll be definitely a lot less lower owned, and they both give you the ability to spend up at pitcher, which is what I'm looking to do, and which is why the Royals and the Nats are definitely going to be in play as 5-man stacks for me today. I did want to mention too, so Nate's mentioned at the top, Detroit White Sox was one of the games Roth has as yellow. This is the second game, Washington and Kansas City. I should have said it from the top, but like Nate said, if I don't see orange, yellow orange is when I start looking at it. And the first color means the most. So orange yellow is a lot more scary than yellow orange, etc. When we just see yellow, that really just means like a chance of delay. Most of the times, always read what Roth says. Weather can change, as we know, but just seeing yellow, I'm expecting all 10 games to play. I'm expecting them to all play cleanly for now. That's all I got there. Collins, player of the week. Love to see that. Hopefully the Brewers can stay hot. What's up, Trevor Bryan? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in here. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, St. Louis Cardinals and the Colorado Rockies. You're looking at a 8.5 total, minus 219 favorites are the Cardinals. Chase Dollander, Miles Mikolas on the mound. You mentioned from the top about the Cardinals being one of the chalkiest with Tampa. The reason for that, I mean, look at their prices. No one above 4.3K on this Cardinals team with a very healthy run total against one of the worst teams in baseball, against a bad bullpen, and it allows you to spend up at pitching. If you're playing the Cardinals, are you doing something particular to get different? Are you more likely to play them in a high stakes 20-man than a 121, 380 people versus like a 13,000 flagship? Like, how are you looking at that? Do you like the Cardinals at all? What are we doing in this spot?
Yeah, so I think the Cardinals are fine. I mean, the smaller the field, the better. I think personally to play the Cardinals, just because, I mean, it's still not a great offense in general. I mean, they have the lefties are what you want to start with. And then the Rockies bullpen, I mean, if you look at the Rockies XFIP over the last 30 days out of the pen, it's 5.26, which is absolutely atrocious. We already know the Rockies suck. It is 86 degrees, 88 degrees, wind kind of blowing across the field here. So it is going to be hot. I'm assuming it's pretty humid there as well in St. Louis. It's not the best ballpark for hitting there. It's just, I mean, these are just misprices. It reminds me a lot of when the Blue Jays were in Coors Field. It's not Coors Field, obviously, but it's similar in terms of what the pricing was. Personally, I'd probably play them. I wouldn't play them with the Rays. I'll tell you that right now. And then maybe, to be honest, I would probably play them with only one spend up pitcher and then get an expensive like a Yankees mini stack or something, when most people are double spending at pitcher and maybe just grabbing one expensive one off with two value guys like the Rays or something as a mini stack. I think that's interesting way to approach it there. If you are five stacking the Cardinals, I think that's pretty interesting there, because I think most people are going to click when they're five stacking the Cardinals in only using one spend up arm and going like a Jeffrey Springs. I think they much rather go to a team like the Dodgers. So going to a team like the Yankees that we already talked about, I think is interesting there, or going to maybe some Red Sox or some of the White Sox, things like that, to be different there. There's not much more to say. The lefties should smash here. And then even the righties, I mean, Dolander's not going to be in there very long, coming off an injury there. He's not a great pitcher by any means, gets tattooed by left-handers. So Nootbaar, Burleson, Gorman, even Victor Scott down there. Victor Scott will be probably the lowest owned in this entire roster just due to his hitting position. Don't be afraid to leave him out. Actually, I'd probably prefer him in stacks just because he's got stolen base upside. He does have some power. He's 2,800, and he's going to be the lowest owned in this lineup there. So Cardinals, not much more to say. They're all in play for me. Prefer the lefties. Just be worried on how you play them. I would not play them with the Rays personally myself. Even maybe the Brewers, probably I would avoid. I would like to spend up realistically with a team like the Yankees as a mini stack there. On the Rockies side of things, I think you could play some Rockies here. I have no interest in playing Mikolas. He's projected to be 15 to 20% owned just due to the nature of the slate and this Rockies team. You can play guys like Goodman, Tovar against him. Moniak, I think, is a good lefty power bat in there as a nice value at 3,500. Bernabel's actually been really good too since cracking this lineup there. He's 3,200 at a first base position. Nobody's going to click his name. So a couple of the bats on the Rocky side, way more interest for stacking wise on the cards, but again, that's everybody's interest. So be worried how you play them.
Yeah, the lefties for sure grayed out. Like the splits with Dolander, like he actually does keep the ball on the ground and limit fly balls on the right side of the plate, and that all goes away against the left side. Still doesn't miss bats. And the thing, I don't hate your some of your Rockies calls, because I mean it seems like the story of the slate with a lot of these like spend down pitchers, they don't walk guys, which is actually what you want for the most part, because you want more home runs. Walking can be fine. It can lead to like singles and small stuff, but it's hard to win a GPP on 10 games just walking around the bases. He doesn't miss bats. He doesn't walk guys. Balls will be in play. The Rockies have been hitting a little more as of late. And then you go to the pricing when you're spending up at pitcher. Like if I'm spending up at pitcher and I want a 5-man the Cardinals, since I do like him a lot, just going to the other side of the game and trying to look like a good example. Who's going to be Mason Wynn, one of the more popular guys. Play Tovar at shortstop instead of Mason Wynn. Very similar pricing, a lot less ownership, and then you do something else different in your Cardinal stacks or whatever it may be, an outfielder. You're going to go Freeman instead of Lars Nootbaar. Doesn't look good at all. Very similar pricing, etc. But you're still 5-manning something else on the Cardinal side when most are going Lars, Burleson at first, whatever it may be. You're going Baron Bell or whatever it is. So I think the Rockies are interesting as a very low-owned piece to use in mini stacks to help you get up to those spend-up pitching options. Or if you're playing the Yankees 5-man, like you need, if you're playing Yankees 5-man, you can probably go chalkier elsewhere. But it's more so when you are eating chalk at a lot of spots, I think going to the Rockies 1Z positions to fill out the stuff isn't the worst idea. And like people won't do it because they're not free by any means. They're not like 2,300, 2,400. You're still mid 3Ks for most of them. So you have to make it a priority. But yeah, I've liked picking on Mikolas for a little bit now. Usually not 5-manning. He limits enough hard contact, but balls will be in play. And that's what you want when you're getting people at 1-2% in chalky teams. So yeah, I don't hate it. I just like a lot. Story of the slate. I want spend up pitching. I want cheap offenses. We have 2 cheap offenses here. The Cardinals, I want to pick on the Rockies and their bullpen forever. So Tolander stinks. the Cardinals are my favorite in a vacuum, but I do prioritize spend up pitching, which is the chalk, over the spend chalk bat. And if that is the Cardinals, which I think it's them and the Rays, I think we have enough other teams we talked about where at ownership, they probably fall down the list a bit. But gun to my head, who scores the most runs today? I'm picking the Cardinals. I just don't think the Rockies and Dolan are good at all. Keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Very low total, sitting at 7, which is tied for the lowest on the slate. Minus 169 favorites are the Rangers and Evaldi. Any bats for you in this one? Jock Jams, you want to talk about him at 2,100?
Yeah, I mean, you can click Jock Jams if you want a 20% on 3 points. I mean, you can do that. It's not for me. I'm not playing any Rangers here. If you were to pick anyone, it would be the lefties. Much prefer Josh Smith and Corey Seager. At the top, if you want a little mini stack, 4,600 for Corey Seager is a joke. That's still too cheap there for him. He ranks really well. Nelson gets tattooed by lefties. Seager's going to be very low owned. Guys like Mason Wynn. That's another pivot right there. $1,000 more than Mason Wynn. You can make up $1,000 if you drop down from Garrett Crochet to Nathan Eovaldi. Well, there's your $1,000. Play Corey Seager over Mason Wynn. Josh Smith, again, first play him at third base, which is a weak position. Think he's fine. Raleigh Tellez, I'd much rather play Raleigh Tellez over Jock Jams. I'm not playing any Jock. Josh Smith and Seager are the only 2 bats I really like it on the Ranger side. And then the D-backs, you can always play Marte and Carroll. I'm just not playing these guys against one of my favorite pitchers on the slate. So if they beat them, it's more so that it's just Eovaldi's not going to be have a ceiling performance rather than myself going to be on board the D-backs train.
Yeah, like 7.5 total. Red Sox, Astros, Crochet, Javier on the mound. I don't think you're playing against Crochet. Javier making his first start back the IL, but like how much Red Sox do you really want? Their pricing, that's what gets to me. Like they're not expensive, but they're not free. Like bats I want at the top, Bregman, Story, Duran, Abreu, Roman, like playing Crochet, Evaldi, it's still tough to 5-man the top of the Red Sox. I don't even want to do it anyway, but they're not as cheap as, like, I'm more willing to play the White Sox, like you said, the Tigers, heck, maybe even the Rockies mini stacks more than the Red Sox. Like I just don't see myself. They're too expensive, even though they're not expensive for what I'm trying to do on this slate. Javier's respectable enough. Obviously, his first start back. It could go wrong. What are your thoughts on the Red Sox? I'm not playing the Astros.
Yeah, no Astros for me. I actually like the Red Sox lefties quite a bit, to be honest. You look at Javier last year, 74 plate appearances against lefties, a 14% K rate, a 15% walk rate, 242 ISO allowed, fly ball rate over 34%. And the best hitters from the Red Sox are all left-handed. I mean, Jarren Duran, Weiler Abreu, Anthony Yoshida. The only issue is their price points. But again, I mean, Roman Anthony, 4,300, very, very reasonably. Abreu, 4,100. Yoshida, 3K. Toro, if he's in there, 2,600 switch hitter lefty with power. I want only the lefties from the Red Sox side. I'm not playing Bregman. I'm not playing Story. So naturally, those are the guys that are going to do anything for the Red Sox. The Astros pen has slipped a little bit. It is still a good pen. But looking at XFIP and that over the last month, their pen has slipped, and they have 4 guys, 26, 26, 28, 36 in the last 3 days. 3 of those guys pitching yesterday, 14, 10, and 18 pitches. So they are fairly taxed. I think the lefties make some sense here. I don't love the ballpark, so I prefer it more as a mini stack here, but I do think one team that's kind of in the mid-range price tier that's getting slept on, I think, here is going to be Boston. So do have some interest in the lefties for the Red Sox side of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of blood orange. I don't know if it's you like to say that. Ham says that one of you guys talk about blood orange a lot. Talking to lefties when looking at the metrics, Javier, it is really bad. William Abreu, a big fly ball lean to him. He'd probably be my favorite in that lineup. You talked me into being more open to mini stacks than I initially was. The lefties, yeah, definitely stand out the most for them. What's up, Easy? Hope you're having a great day. Got a couple games left on the slates. Before we do talk about it again, if you just joined late, you see this big banner up here. SHIPIT games. What is that? Definitely look at Tambo and Hoops video from last week. We're giving out away 77,000 us Saber Sim, and hopefully those prizes will continue to go up because that means some member, there's going to be 3 ways throughout the week to get golden SHIPIT tickets. One's going to build a lineup with Tambo in the 333 Wildcat. One's going to play a head-to-head with Hoop, and one's a 199 person winner take all. But in that 50% or in that 3033 Wildcat, if you cash anything, 50%, 10% goes to the person, which is awesome. 50% goes back to that prize pool to keep raising it. And that could be 250K is usually first to the Wildcat. You could see that over $100,000, $150,000 in those prizes. And you're like, what is it? SHIPIT Games. Again, either watch that video with Tambo, which I recommend, or click this links. It'll take you to a different website to explain it all. But you get ballots. How do you get ballots? If you're an NFL early bird member like this right here, you start with 5 ballots. Additionally, week 1, you get a ballot. Week 2, you get 2 ballots. Week 3, you get 3, etc. If you keep going and you play all 16, 17 weeks, you have a lot more chances to then be picked for golden SHIPIT tickets. Again, watch the video with Tambo and Hoop. Right now, this $349, the important stuff, is going to $449, and the 5 extra ballots for the early bird special will be gone on Wednesday. So NFL prices are going up. We'd love to have you. You get SaberSim, you get college football content, which many charge for. You do get 5 additional ballots with the NFL early bird special. But again, this price is going up to $449 on Wednesday. We'd love to have you. If you're interested in upgrading, going from PGA to NFL, all you have to do is email info@shipitnation.com. We will get you covered. Can't wait for the NFL season. Shout out to Little Neck. I meant to shout him out earlier with Ham and Rio. He's always grinding in the NFL preseason chat, has helped a lot of people make some money, and he himself won $5,000 in the showdown streets, took first place, and even thanked the member, who the member let them people know that there was overlay. So the only reason that Little Neck threw an extra team in, or a couple, and that was one of them, someone in chat, Account Strike, I believe, let him know there was overlay. Little Neck did a lot of research, dropped his towers for all preseason, made $5,000 over the weekend and some change. So shout out to you. Shout out to an awesome community. And there's Little Neck right there. Hope you're having a great one, Little Neck. Again, we'd love to have you at shipitnation.com ahead of a big NFL season that's very, very shortly away, man. It's coming up quickly. I'm excited to head out across the country, head out to Greece. 2 weeks, come back, football on the screen, ready to rock. So I need a little break. Then we're ready. You guys, Ham, Nades, Hoop, you might even see a little Rio, have you guys down. G Rising, of course, for the MLB season, though, to close the year. Nades, Angels, Dodgers. Any Dodgers interest here? We're looking at a 8 total. One of the bigger favorites on the slate are the Dodgers, though, at minus 181. I think that comes in like 4th on the slate in terms of favorites. Pretty high run total. The problem is the pricing, especially looking at the top of the order. How many 5-man Dodgers do you think you have?
Yeah, I don't love a 5-man Dodgers here. The Angels bullpen is bad. At the end of the day, Soriano is still a ground ball pitcher. You look at last 30 days, 71%. You look at this year and last year, 64%. So it would just be the fly ball guys for me. Muncy, Ohtani, Mookie. I don't like Mookie much, but he does hit the ball in the air. Conforto, rushing if he's in there, Pages, Freeman. But overall, I just don't love it. I think they're fine. I much prefer the Yankees personally myself. I think much more are going to prefer the Dodgers. I'll side with the Yankees against a pitcher that I think is going to get much more ownership in Zebby, that has also an opportunity to, number one, not pitch long and to get blown up with some power there. So I side with the Yankees over the Dodgers, but I think the Dodgers are firmly in play. It is good hitting weather here in Anaheim. Temperatures in the mid to low 80s to mid 70s here, with wind blowing out in an already home run prone ballpark there. So this could be a good low owned Dodger spot. That's the only interest I have. I'm not playing any Angels even against Yamamoto chalk. I just don't think it's the slate to do it. I would just rather not play Yamamoto than play any of the Angels personally.
I'm with you. I find it like a heavy ground ball pitcher has actually been good this year. The K prop's fine. Like, I'd much prefer the Yankees too if picking against the Dodgers. And I do think Yankees are interesting, but I want to spend up at pitching. Like, when I hate these bottom arms, and I want to avoid it as much as possible, you have to dumpster dive when you are playing the Dodgers, especially because I want one of Crochet, Evaldi, Yamamoto up top. If I were to play the Dodgers, I think what I said about the Yankees, like I'd be more likely to play Yamamoto than Evaldi or Crochet. Part of the reason is that 1,100, 1,200, whatever savings from Crochet to Yamamoto means even more. But also, again, you hope Dodgers put up 8, 9, 10 runs, whatever it may be. You're more likely to get the win, a little bump to correlation there. It's even more so on FanDuel on one pitcher sites. When quality start matters, they go later in the game, and the wins weighted a little more as well. But 4 points on DraftKings for the win is important. So if I were to five-man the Dodgers, I think playing Yamamoto as my spend-up pitcher would be my favorite way to go. Jake, are you talking to? You're probably talking to someone. Chat. Oh, Yeezy, I see you. All right, let's keep it rolling. 2 games left. A game that will get very little ownership for bats, and I think rightfully so. Padres, Giants, Logan Webb, Yu Darvish, off a ballpark, 7 total. -132 favorites are the Giants. You talked about playing Yu Darvish as a punt. Logan Webb grades out well in the pitcher rankings. It was more so his price versus the others. His K prop's bad. If I was playing 50+ teams, like I would keep Logan Webb in the pool. He is the pivot up there. But I think you're more so just hoping he scores 21 and that be enough to be on the winner and the other guys up top really not do great than him just go out and explode for a 30 piece. Do you see it the same way? I respect this Padres team enough that I don't really want to play Logan Webb at this price with like 20 teams or less, but I also don't want to pick on him either.
Yeah, no bats for me in this one. This is the worst game on the slate for hitting wise, so naturally it'll be the highest scoring. But if that's the case, I'll tighten up the bootstraps and come back tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. What about the last game, Nades? The A's and the Rays, the highest total at 10, -113 favorites are the A's. So we pretty much got to pick them. Got a big total. However, A side, expensive. It's not the beginning of the year's A's anymore. The Rays, you could pretty much say the same thing for 1, 2, 3, and then they just falls off the cliff, and it's really easy to stack them after that, which Rays will be very popular, as you see. The A's, not so much. Yeah, I guess I believe this ownership. I don't know. At this ownership, if that's true, Pepio is going to get a little ownership himself. Like, A's are my preferred side in this game if that ownership stays true. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I don't like the Rays side of this game. Yandy and Caminero would be the 2 favorite bats if going to any of them. I just think this ownership's wrong on this game. It's just because of Jeffrey Springs, right? People just blindly stack against Jeffrey Springs here, not looking at the metrics. The Rays are bottom of the league in almost every metric against left-handed pitching all season, last month, no matter what you look at. Tons of strikeouts, not a lot of power. You see a ton of blood red there on the road as well. I'm not going to play a chalky team with a 111 ISO on this slate when you need home runs. So Caminero, Yandy, only 2 guys I'd play from the Rays. Don't love it because those are going to be 2 of the higher-owned guys on the entire slate in general. I like the A side of this game a lot. The lefties, Pepio does give, like I talked about, he's got the highest home run per 9 inning metric on the slate. He's up there with guys like Paddock, who historically have just given up a ton of home runs. Pepio's starting to fall in that category. The Rays bullpen is good, so I prefer kind of more mini stacks and power hunting for the A's. But I think a 5-man stack at this ownership is firmly in play in by far the best hitting environment, and it's not even close on the slate. It'd be different if the wind wasn't howling out, but you're going to have 10+ mile-an-hour winds the entire duration of this game, temperature in the 90s in this park that already yields some of the most runs in all of baseball here. So I think the lefties, Kurt's one of the better plays in the slate. You do have to pay for him. Butler can't figure it out right now, but one of these times he's going to turn around. 4,700 still fine. Soderstrom, I think JJ Bleday is one of the better plays on the slate. 3,700. Nobody's going to click him. He's affordable. You got Daryl Hernandez here, who actually has a lot of power, always puts the ball in the play. So I do think the A's are pretty interesting here. And then obviously you got Rooker and Langeliers, who doesn't matter who they're facing, they always have a ton of power there. So I much prefer the A's side of stacking. I'm off the Rays. Give me the late night Hammer Athletics here as a low owned stock.
Yeah, I like it. But to be honest, I think most optimal would probably be this. Like the A's, I think, are like my fourth favorite stack when looking at ownership, but I do prefer Brewers. I know I prefer Cardinals. And I really like the idea of going like the White Sox when you got to save some salary. Who was the other one that stood out? You talked me in a little more Red Sox than I initially had at their prices too. I think I can get away with spending up, double spending pitcher, getting 5 Red Sox, and then filling it in with cheap stuff enough. And that's what I want to do on this slate. Again, I would cap everyone else, not named Yamamoto, Eovaldi, Warren, and Crochet at like 10%. Get a little Quintana, Zebby, whoever those cheap punts that you want. I would keep a couple of them in the pool because that if you do, like, that's how you get the Dodgers. That's how you get the Yankees. That's how you get the top of the order with the A's. If one of those teams go off for 14, you will, like a 15 from Quintana might be enough. So I don't want to just completely block myself off that roster construction, but I want to jam, for the most part, double spend pitching or Will Warren with one of the pitchers up top and go about it that way, which leads me to lower price bats. But we have, like I said, plenty of lower price bats on the slates, and they're all going to eat into each other's ownership to an extent where I'm not worried about it too much. If you're going Crochet, Eovaldi, 5 Brewers, and the chalky Brewers, that's when you go Rockies, White Sox. Like, get different at some spot today, but it's a 10-game slate, especially if you're not playing, if you're only playing one of Crochet or none of Crochet, Eovaldi, and Yamamoto, then you can do whatever you want and not worry about any roster construction, anything. You'll already be different enough. Definitely not my favorite route to go that way, but I want to spend up at pitching. Final thoughts for you, Nades, before we get on out of here.
No, I think we broke it down pretty good. Slate plan has been live. I'm working on the cores right now. I'll throw those up, but we'll be in the Discord answering any questions. Fun slate in general. I think you can make some. We know what the chalk is, and I think you can make some pretty good pivots. We talked about a lot of low-owned spots here that can get you different. It's not saying go in there and play 9 low-owned guys in your roster, right? You need 1 or 2 spots to be different. Even if you're eating the chalk, Eovaldi, Crochet, Yamamoto, 2 of the 3 at the top and playing Cardinals. Like I said, pivot the mini stack, leave out Mason Wynn, add in Victor Scott, things like that can make you different. That's all it takes in baseball.
Absolutely. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate all the words. Many are saying hit that like on the way out, hit that subscribe if you have not already. And again, we'd love to have you at SHIPIT Nation right here. If you're curious to hear the whole breakdown of the SHIPIT Nation games, you can click that, join the nation. You can see all of the different options we have. Content only, all access, single sport, and right now, as you see, the best football plus optimizer. That optimizer SaberSim, the best, gets you Discord, gets you everything you need. This price will be going from $349 up to $449, and the ballots will be gone on Wednesday. So if you do know that you'll be with us and you will be having, or you want football, college football, NFL, SaberSim, this is the best deal. Prices will go up. Make sure to email info@chipination.com or upgrade prior to Wednesday before the price does go up. That'll do it for us. Hopefully I do not. Yeah, you thought, Ross. You thought. Thank you, boys. I will hopefully not bring any bad luck to the Brewers. If they lose for the first time in a while, you know exactly why that is. But I will definitely have some fun. I'm going to head down there pretty much right now. Nades, awesome stuff. Talking some baseball. Good luck to you. Good luck to everybody out there watching. Let's win some cheese tonight for Nades on title. Peace. Good luck.